Good evening, Bhaiya.
Good evening, Ashutosh. How are you? So, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is excited for today's session.
We are going to start our sessions within next 2 minutes. Let me change the settings so that all can open their cameras, not mic. Yeah, all can open their cameras. So I request all the attendees to open their cameras so that we can make our session interactive. Otherwise, everyone will feel the session boring. I request everyone to open up their cameras. Yes, yes, yes. How is the Josh? Ria, can you please tell me whether our directors and HODs are joined?
I don't think, Rishabh, they have joined it yet because I am not able to see any HODs or faculty right now.
Can you
Join the
please
director, sir.
can you please inform the respected director sir and HOD sir so that they can join the session?
Sure, sure. Just a minute.
Yeah, yeah. We have only we can extend our session for only 2 minutes more. I hope everyone is waiting to getting started.
Hello. Yeah, Rishabh, I've texted them and they'll be joining soon.
Okay. Uh,
But
there are only 60 people join.
I do see that the president and vice president of Student Council of Technocrats Institute of Technology have already joined. Mr. Prabhat Kumar and Mr. Sahil Kumar.
Yeah, thanks, President Mr. Prabhat Kumar and President and Mr. Sahil sir for joining. Can you please open up the camera? I think we should start our session. It's already 8 minutes late from the expected time. Surya, can we start
Yes, Rishabh, I've just,
or we
contacted
have to wait?
our HOD sir. He said that he is not able to join right now, but I'm sure that our director sir will join in time. So I guess it's time we start the session. Everyone is waiting from such a long time.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm gonna hand over the session to Ria Tandon. He is a secretary of Alumni Relation Committee Club. So Ria, you can continue from here.
Sure, Rishabh. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Greetings to all the tech aficionados and future DevOps experts. It's an exciting day as we commence this mentorship session, which promises to unlock the secrets of successful DevOps practices. I am Ria Tandon, Secretary of Alumni Relationship Committee. Welcome you all to this expert mentorship session organized by Alumni Relationship Committee on behalf of Student Council of Technocrats Institute of Technology. As our director sir and HOD sir have not arrived yet, I would like to extend a special thanks to President of Student Council of TRT, Mr. Prabhat Kumar, and Vice President, Mr. Sahil Kumar. See, our community plays a crucial role in maintaining and strengthening the connection between alumni and institution, also helping our students to get insights of real world. Now, I'd like to hand over the everything to Rishabh to start the program. Rishabh?
First of all, I would like to welcome all the tech enthusiasts, those who are presented here, those who have eager to know about DevOps, what actual DevOps is, what actual cloud is, and we are gonna to explore a bunch of knowledge, and all thanks to our directors or our HOD sirs and Technocrats Institute of Technology for giving us this opportunity and helping us and supporting us one to one. And I would like to thanks Mr. Paras Varsingya sir for contributing with us, uh, for giving us their precious 1 hour from the busy schedule. Then I would like to hand over this session to Mr. Paras sir. He will continue from there.
Thank you so much, Rishav and Ria, for such a warm introduction. I can see there are 71 people joined right now. Okay, 72. So the count is moving ahead like second by second. Okay. So it's great to see such a great audience. And even the topic is so great about the DevOps. And as you know, that DevOps is the new normal. DevOps is the new thing that is very much required in the modern technology world. So apart from me, I think I have someone else who have joined here. He's also from Hitachi, Mr. Gaurav Upadhyay. Rishabh, Ria, or someone, can you please unmute his mic? Mr. Gaurav Upadhyay.
Uh,
He's,
yeah, just give me 2 minutes.
yep. He's the manager in Hitachi Systems India Private Limited, and he's also working as a AWS DevOps engineer. So it's really great having you here as well.
Uh, I would like to welcome Gaurav sir among us. Thanks for your contribution, Gaurav sir.
Yeah, thanks, Rishabh. Thanks, Paras, for this opportunity.
It is an opportunity for us to hear you, to have you as to hear you as a speaker. It's a great opportunity to all of us, I think. And sir, thanks for your contribution.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rishabh, for your kind words.
Yeah. And exactly, to be honest, it's really great learning from him since not only just AWS DevOps, but if you talk about the normal DevOps and normal tools and technology that we use in day-to-day life, that means if you talk about I'm going to explain about a lot of tools that will contain, for example, the Ansible, Terraform, lot many scripts. So it is really great learning from him. So Gaurav sir, it would be great if we can continue this session together, right?
Yeah, you can start, and I'll pitch in whenever wherever it is required from my side.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really great of you. Yes. So Rishabh, can we move forward with the next slide? Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, Rishabh, and all the students of the technocrat institutions for organizing such an event so that we can all gather together and share our knowledge on DevOps, and we can ultimately contribute for a better society or better modern tech world again. Since we all are the future engineers, right? I can see there are a lot many people. There are around 70 people tech enthusiasts here. So it's really Really great. Thank you so much, team, for such a wonderful session. Next slide. Okay. So like Rishabh already mentioned, like I'm working as an Azure DevOps.
This slide for our speaker, Mr. Paras sir. He is currently working as a Azure DevOps engineer at Hitachi Systems Private Limited. And since Paras sir did not inform me about Gaurav sir, I have to post their picture also. Sorry sir for that. We did not have that knowledge.
No issue,
Uh,
Rishav. I was supposed to not join this session, but somehow I just got some information from Paras. So I joined this. No issues in that. It's not about picture, it's
Thanks.
about sharing our knowledge.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
that's
I think it will all for knowledge. Thanks for
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Thanks sir for your contribution. And Gaurav sir is also a senior cloud engineer. I think. Am I correct, Paras sir?
Yeah, he's the manager in AWS DevOps engineers.
Yeah, yeah. He is the manager in AWS in Hitachi
AWS.DevOps.
Systems.
Right.
Okay,
Correct.
okay. So
Yeah.
we are continue with us.
Yeah. Next slide, please. Okay. So like first of all, like exactly what DevOps is, right? If you talk about what is DevOps, so DevOps basically is development plus operations. And if you can see, there is a picture which contains so many names, right? It is a Git, there is a Docker. You can see the Maven, you can see Jenkins, you can see Kubernetes. There are so many things. So Docker is basically that contains constantly. You can see there's a sign of infinity, which contains a lot many things. If I tell in simple, but then it is continuous integration, then testing, and then deployment. So all these things are coming into a loop and they are completing a software development life cycle. So this is DevOps, what exactly it is. Okay, Rishabh, we can move forward with the next slide. Okay. And one more request with everyone, like I think Rishabh, at the end of this session, we are also going to have a Q&A session, right?
Yes, at the end of the session in 10 minutes, we have a Q&A session in which all the participants are going to ask you questions, a bunch of
Okay,
questions from
okay.
you and Gaurav sir.
Okay, okay. So you guys can, note down all of your questions and we'll be more than happy and pleased to answer those questions. Okay. So if I talk about the introduction, like what exactly DevOps is, right? So DevOps is just the combination of two words. One is dev and ops. So dev comes from development part and ops comes from operations perspective. So development or DevOps is basically the combination of these two words. So development basically contains, for example, if we are building any software or any application, then all the development part, that means from the, for example, if I say from the code commit or from the repository from where the code is stored, then from the coding perspective and everything, and then from the testing, everything is taken care by the dev part of the DevOps thing. Then other thing is operations. So operations basically include all the project management thing. For example, if you are developing any product, then there should be the strategies, there should be a life cycle, there should be a plan, that there should be scrums, there should be sprints. These are the things that are involved while developing any application or any program. So this is what DevOps is basically confined of. It is just combining both of the things. That means the development side and operation side. And we form a single life cycle that help us to seamlessly enable and seamlessly deploy our own applications. So this is what DevOps exactly is.
So guys, just adding to Paras' point here, like what exactly you understand from DevOps. So dev and operations, right? So development is like you are writing some code and you are building some applications, right? And operations is like how these applications would be hosted or on which platform it would be hosted, and that complete operations part taken care by infrastructure engineers. So DevOps is completely a package of developers plus infrastructure engineers. That becomes a DevOps engineer basically. Getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. DevOps is a combination of development plus operations, I
Yes.
guess.
So it's not about like it is a tool or something like that. It's a practice basically. Yes, Paras, you can continue.
Yes, exactly, sir. So that was a proper explanation. Like DevOps is just a practice. It is just not a single tool, or it is a combination of set of practices and tools that are involved in this process. So Rishabh, can we move with the next slide? Okay, so first and foremost question that you guys will come is like, for example, this webinar is on for like career for DevOps engineer. Like the first and foremost question that everyone should get is like, why should I become a DevOps engineer? There are so many options available in the market. You can be application developer, you can be a web developer, you can be a full stack developer. There are so many things. Then why should I choose DevOps as my career journey? Right. So this is the first and foremost question that everyone should get. So if I say about the reasons to become a DevOps engineer is, then basically first and foremost reason is DevOps is the new practice that the market is following, and that means in the terms of application deployment. So DevOps is growing very rapidly. That means all the traditional works and the traditional methodologies are being replaced currently. They are being replaced by the modern workloads and the modern agile practices. That's what exactly DevOps is, and that's what exactly DevOps engineer do. They automate everything, and they are additionally the DevOps is one of the fast-paced industry that is moving ahead very rapidly. If I talk about in today's market, and I think all the product-based companies or everything that are working on any kind of deployment or development, they are moving forward with the DevOps technologies. So it is very important currently to be a DevOps engineer. It is a really profitable source of what I can say source of income if you are DevOps engineer. Okay, sir. Next slide, please. Okay. So this, like I mentioned before, like why should you become a DevOps engineer? It is highly profitable in market. There's a lot amount of demand. So you can see a lot of vacancies and job openings for DevOps engineer. So DevOps engineer. So you will ask me like how? Okay, DevOps engineer is good, right? Being a DevOps is a good thing, but how should I become a DevOps engineer? There should be some set of guidance or some kind of thing that I should learn to become a DevOps engineer. So these are the things that are listed in front of you. So if I talk about like what do you need to become a DevOps engineer, then first of all you should be familiar. Like the first thing, like we mentioned, and Gaurav sir mentioned it, it is the dev part. That means development. Obviously, for development there should be some proper coding, and there should be some technology that you should be aware of. But they could be anything. They could be Python, Bash, or Perl, or there could be you can use any, for example, Java, C++, C Sharp. Anything could be there. You should be familiar with any one of those programming languages so that you can understand all the concept that you are going along. That means if you are deploying any application or you are doing anything, you're working, then you should understand the logic behind the code. You should understand what you're trying to do. So you should be aware of any one of the programming languages. Okay. And then second and very foremost thing is cloud computing. So if I talk basically about cloud, then there are multiple clouds in the market, but out of them there are three major clouds. One is AWS, Azure, and GCP. GCP is basically Google Cloud. Okay. So you should be aware of any of those cloud technology. You can choose anything and or anyone based on your interest. It could be AWS, it could be Azure, or anything. That totally depends on your part. Okay. And the third thing is containerization. So containerization, containers are basically, they are new things. So everything is moving on containers right now. So you might have heard about Docker. What Docker specifically does is, for example, if you are having a code, right? So for example, you are writing a code in your Windows machine, or you are in a Linux machine, but you want to do deployment in a different environment. So that becomes a little bit difficult in the traditional way. So to overcome this situation, the containers are introduced. Containers basically, they contains all the runtime application and runtime dependency that is required for the application. So containerization platform is basically Docker, and there are other also, but Docker is most famous and widely used purpose. So you should be aware of that. Then the fourth thing is IAC. So IAC is technically stands for infrastructure as a code. So for example, if you want to create an infra, so with infra, I mean there could be different types of infrastructure. For example, if you want to create a entire environment that could contain, for example, a set of virtual network or a set of VPC, then there should be some virtual machines or EC2 instance running. So you can do that by writing the code only. For example, if you are familiar with coding script and you don't want You don't want to go to, for example, if you don't want to go to the environment and manually make it, then you can directly use those technology. That means the Terraform and Ansible. Terraform is basically for creating the infra, and Ansible is for managing the infra, right? Then there are configuration management like Chef and Puppet. Chef and Puppet are basically for example, you want to manage what configuration, like what seamless integrations you want to do in your infrastructure. So Chef and Puppet are basically for those part. And then if I talk about monitoring, for example, you have created the infrastructure, now you want to monitor it. You want to basically know what is going along, what is going along here. You want to know like what are the metrics that are being used. Then Prometheus and Grafana are one of the best in the market for this purpose. And form, and then last and the least is continuous integration and continuous delivery. So CI and CD is basically the heart of the DevOps pipeline. So it is basically the heart. So if you heard about DevOps anywhere, then CI and CD must be the first thing that you might have been known. So CI stands for continuous integration. It takes care of the part that means from the your code is stored in a repository, then from there to work when the developers are working on it, they're integrating that code to the main repo. That means the main repository. And then CD is for deployment purpose. For example, you are deploying that, whether it could be in the Kubernetes or in the AKS or EKS, or in any of the managed containerized environment. So everything is taken care by CI and CD. So these are the things required. So Gaurav sir, you want to add anything in here?
Yes, Paras. The first and foremost thing I think you guys have not mentioned here, that is operating system basically. Everyone should have knowledge about operating system, whether it's Windows, Linux, or whatever. But that
Yes, sir,
should
yes, sir.
be there in the skills. That is the first and foremost thing for a DevOps engineer. Without operating system knowledge, you can't do anything. And see, we are in virtualization world right now, right? So without operating system, you guys don't even know like what how my applications behave, or what resource it is consuming, right? So that is the first and foremost thing related to your operating system. So I think you all guys are from college right now, so you might be having one subject, operating systems. So that is the main heart of DevOps basically. And Paras, just let them understand about the application architecture, starting from waterfall approach to this microservices.
Microservices, right?
If you can explain, so I'll be on mute. Otherwise, I have to take this.
No, sir, you can take it. There could be no one who can explain better than you about those approaches. So
Okay. So,
yeah.
traditionally, guys, in 90s era, like we used to follow that waterfall approach, that SDLC, basically software development life cycle, right? So we were using monolithic application architecture, right? Then Agile came into the picture, and we have N-tier applications, right? Or you can say like software-oriented architectures. So what? And now it's the era of DevOps. So what is the difference between all these three architectures? So DevOps comes, as a microservice, right? Microservice architecture we follow. So what is the main difference between them? So in monolithic, we had a business logic inside a server, right? That is onto a physical server, right? Then that physical servers, you might be, you guys have, I think you guys have not seen that part, but during our board exams results, no, that websites goes down. That was the challenge that time when we were in school, right? So like board results come, and everyone is chasing their results, right? So the websites goes down just because of high traffic, because all the business logics are on a single place. Then they have decided like we should change the architecture to multi-tier architecture. right? So their web logic is different, then database is different, and application logic is different. So then also there is a challenge, like if database goes down or application logic goes down, so whole application would not work, right? Then we comes to DevOps. So in microservices, we have like, for example, you have a static website only, right? And you have multiple options there, like home, about us, careers, anything else. So there is a separate code for specific option, or you can say menu, right? So like if there is a problem with home page, so there should not be problem with other pages. That is the benefit DevOps is providing us, right? So your whole application won't go down. And that is very beneficial for distributed applications. Getting my point?
Yes,
Right.
sir, of course.
And second thing is scalability. We have in because we all are using cloud environments right now. We are not using physical servers, and everyone is hosting their applications on cloud platform itself, whether it's AWS, whether it's GCP or Azure, or some private clouds, Oracle clouds, IBM clouds, whatever. But so the main point is here scalability. Like whenever the traffic increase, so your application would scale basis on the traffic. So you won't get downtime during that peak hours of your application, or peak hours of your traffic. So that is the benefit of using cloud platforms, as well as I mean in terms of DevOps, right? So that's all. Paras, now you can continue.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a great
Uh,
thing that we learned basically right now. Yes, Rishabh? Yes.
yes, sir. Actually, our participants have one question that in DevOps, if, from which cloud we can get started, like AWS, Azure, or GCP? Which cloud is preferred move to getting started with DevOps?
So see, DevOps is a philosophy, right? I already had a discussion on that part. You can choose any platform, whether it's Azure, whether it's AWS, whether it's GCP. Just your basic should be clear, and the tools which are mentioned on the screen, like programming languages. I already told, like operating system should be your first priority. You can use any platform, any cloud platform.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
But
And
currently, let me tell you that part also. Currently, two cloud platforms which are currently in use in the industry, that is Azure and AWS. GCP is also there, but it is not having that much of I mean market in the industry right now. But going forward, this might be having, because they have deployed sorry they have developed Kubernetes. Have you heard about Kubernetes, guys?
yes, sir. Basically, it is a container orchestration tool.
Exactly. So that is deployed by Google only. So it's not to, I mean, it's not to comment on that part, that we should not use Google GCP cloud platform, but definitely it will come into picture. But right now it is far, I mean, far away from AWS and Azure. But going forward, it will definitely come into picture.
Gaurav sir, just a minute. I'm very sorry to interrupt you. Sir, we have a professor from our college, Professor Neha Jan ma'am has joined, and we'd like to extend a special thanks to her for joining the session and gracing us with her presence. And now you can continue.
Yeah, thanks, Ria. So I was explaining about the platform which we should use as a, cloud platform which we should use. So I was telling like you can choose between Azure and AWS, as GCP is little bit behind. So in market, they both are competitor to each other, Azure and AWS. Okay.
Okay, thanks, sir, for your
So
nice
Rishabh, do you have
explanation.
any other questions from the participants?
No, sir, I do not have any questions till now. All the participants are requested to post their questions in chat section, and at last we have a Q&A session so that you can ask your doubts there only. And
Yeah.
I would like to thank Neha ma'am for joining us.
Over to you, Paras. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So that was really a great explanation. And basically, there's a first and basic question that comes to the mind of people. Like, for example, whenever they're opting for cloud, like which one they should choose, like AWS and Azure. So I think Gaurav sir has mentioned right. AWS and Azure both are good. In fact, GCP is also good, but currently it lags little bit behind the AWS and Azure market, right? So, okay, that was great explanation. And again, now we will come to the next part of the slide, like how to become a DevOps engineer. Okay, so we have discussed like why we should become a DevOps engineer. We have also discussed like how you can like what our tools are required to become a DevOps engineer. Then now the other thing is like how to become a DevOps engineer. Like what are the methods that you can follow to be a DevOps engineer, and that also in the competitive market. You can see in the market there are so many people competing for a single job, right? So how to be an extraordinary with someone else and how you can prove yourself elongated in the current market situation. Okay, so like there are different paths for being a DevOps engineer. Some people, what there is, for example, they are switching. They are from the development background, so they are, for example, they are developing the code and they are developing the applications. Then after that, they are switching their job and they are also getting involved in the operations perspective of the things. So this is the one way. That means there's a one way. Like for example, if people are starting from the development side, then they can move towards the operation part. And now it also comes about the vice versa. That means vice versa means that for example, the people who are in the operation, then they are learning the mere technologies. And for example, the important thing is software development life cycle, SDLC. Like Gaurav sir mentioned about the waterfall model that was used traditionally. That means around 20-30 years where people were using that approach for building those applications. Now, but currently in the market, the agile and DevOps are uh, being the one of the most widely used technology, and people are getting familiar with this DevOps practice. DevOps is just not only a tool or something; it is a practice and it is a philosophy, right? So there are a lot many things you can, for example, you can see a lot many videos. There are so many people selling their course. There are so many websites. I won't take any name because this is not for promotional purposes. So there are so many ways you can be a DevOps engineer. Right? Website, you want to add anything here? Okay, I think we can continue with the next slide, Rishabh.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so basically this is DevOps career roadmap. Okay, like for example, if for example you are opting for the DevOps engineer, right? So currently in the starting, for example, if you are just a fresher from the college, then it won't be the good thing. For example, if you're directly applying for the DevOps senior roles, so there's a step-by-step process that you should follow. This is a step-by-step process. For example, if you are climbing a staircase, then there should be you are going by like step by step, right? You are not directly going to the top step, right? So you are following the step-by-step approach. So the same goes for DevOps roadmap as well. So if you start your career, then first thing is being a DevOps engineer or DevOps engineer. It also, we can go a little bit back also. Like you can also start with the full stack developer or the development side, or you can also start with the cloud side. Okay, so this is the first thing. You can start whether with the development or either with the cloud. Okay, then you can move ahead and then you can learn more technologies. Then you can grow as a DevOps engineer. This could be the second stage. then you could again you can again add more skill sets. For example, you can add Grafana and Prometheus. For example, apart from building the pipeline, you are also now able to monitor those, and you are also observe those pipeline or observe those flow. Then you can be a DevOps lead. Then you can be a SRE. SRE is basically site reliability engineer. After the lead, you can be a SRE, or you can also be a subject matter expert on those things. Then you can be a infrastructure engineer. You can also start from being an infrastructure engineer. That means you can designing an infra engineer. Then there's a cloud engineer, like you mentioned. Cloud is also thing. For example, if you need to go ahead with the DevOps career journey, then you can start with any of the cloud. I think it must be clear with everyone, like you what cloud you have to choose. It could be anything. Because, all the basic concepts of the cloud are same. Only the name is different and little bit things are different, but basic concepts are exactly the same. Okay, so in Azure you will say virtual machine, in AWS we will say EC2 instance. So everything is pretty much similar. Logic is same everywhere. Just the naming convention and little bit you can also say the UI and everything is same. But everything, uh, if I talk about the practice part, if I talk about the logic, then everything is totally same, right? And you can also be automation engineer. So automation is basically the sole purpose that DevOps people do. That means automating the things. That means automating the process, so that if there is any iteration required, for example, if you are just combining the both the things, the development part, that means if you are developing any code, then if you are deploying, for example, actually there earlier what it used to be people were using the physical servers. That means the physical machines that you could have seen in the offices or in your if you can see in the past movies also, there was they were using the physical machines, then they were coming to cloud, and in cloud they were using the virtual machines. So virtual machines are the virtualized forms of the physical machines. But currently, as far as the current scenario, then the containers are being used. In containers also, Docker is widely used in preparing the containers or developing the containers. And there is then Kubernetes. Kubernetes is also being there for deployment purposes part. So these are the things that you can add into your skill sets. These are the things that you can, maybe I can say you can write into your notebooks currently, like these are the processes and things that you need to follow for being a DevOps career. And this can be a part of your roadmap as well.
So Paras, I have seen a couple of questions in the chat. Like what is the difference between a software developer and a DevOps engineer? Can you briefly explain it, or should I take it up?
Okay.
Sir, we
Anyone,
can
sir?
continue. Sir, we can continue at Q&A session at that time. If you are going
Okay,
to
okay, no
answer,
issues, no issues.
yeah.
So
Our
guys, whosoever is asking the questions, just let us know, or you can post it later. So we'll take it up in the Q&A session. No
yes.
issues.
Otherwise,
Yes,
our
Paras,
session
you
will
can continue
extend
then.
more.
Yeah. So Gaush,
Yeah,
you want
go
to add
ahead.
anything in this DevOps career roadmap in this thing? So you want to add anything?
No, it's fine. It's fine, Paras.
Okay. So Rishabh, I think we can move with the next slide. Okay, though, so I think the first and foremost motivation for today is money, right? So I think money is the first and foremost motivation for everyone, right? To work, right? So you are working to get the money, to get paid, and DevOps is one. If you are looking to get paid in some good purpose and you are looking to have a very well settled and luxurious life, then DevOps is something that is truly for you. If you are of that level and a good level of DevOps engineer, then like it is mentioned in the, for example, an average salary of USA, a DevOps engineer in the USA is $116,000 in USD, and it is also being reported by Indeed. Indeed is one of the best platform for for checking up for applying or something. So Indeed is one of the best platform out of there, and for the you can trust these stats. So in the United States, an average DevOps engineer is getting $116,000. It's a huge amount. So if you are looking to being at a DevOps engineer, then if you want to get some motivation, then being a tech enthusiast is something that you actually have to be a DevOps engineer. But if you again you are looking for some more motivation, then you can look at the numbers, right? Yes. So Rishabh, next slide.
Yes, sir. Actually, salary is that what we are looking at the end.
Yeah, actually, exactly. At the end of the day, you will just look into your bank account, right? How much money you have.
Yes.
Okay. So collaboration and communication. Okay. So basically, collaboration and communication is, for example, one of the basic of being a DevOps philosophy is that means you should be able to collaborate with n number of teams. For example, if you are working in a company, then there are different sets of organizations. There are different sets of teams that you will be dependent on. For example, there will be a development team, then there should be a testing team, then there should be a deployment team who will be doing the deployments, then there should be the project manager who is managing all the project, then there should be a lead under whom all the developers and testers are working. So there are different teams. Then there should be application team, then there should be a designing team. Designing team will basically provide the designs to the development team. So there are different lot many teams that are involved in a company, right? So collaboration and communication is one of the basic thing of DevOps philosophy. That means you should be able to collaborate between the multiple teams so that you can directly integrate and you can directly be updated. For example, if the development team is having any issues, so that because of that the testers should not be at rest. So it could create a problem or communication gap if not proper collaboration is not being followed. So DevOps is basically using for example, the Jira boards, or you can see if I say then there's a Kanban board. Jira boards are nothing but the Kanban boards that they are using for project management purpose. And there's the Slack. Slack is just what I can say, it is the professional version of the social media, right? You can directly communicate with your teams and you can make different groups and then you can directly collaborate with other people. So if I take in that parts of being a DevOps engineer, then you should be collaborative and there should be clear communication between everything, between all the teams, so that no work will be, what I can say, hampered in anyone's absence. So Gaurav, sir, you would like to add anything here?
Yeah. So effective collaboration and communication, guys. Basically, the role of DevOps engineer does not fall along one career track. So professionals, evolve into the position from a variety of backgrounds, right? So, for example, like DevOps engineer might start as a software developer, right? So who oversees aspects of IT operations. Conversely, a DevOps engineer might move up for a system administrator role because they have gained knowledge or about the coding, scripting, and testing, integration of your code. So there can be, some overlap between DevOps and SysOps engineer, right? So it's not about like you have to be collaborative with the other teams. Like Paras has already explained that it is a combination of development and operations team. So in traditional method, like when we were using SDLC, that waterfall or agile. So there was miscommunication between both the teams, right? So whenever any issue comes, so infrastructure team will say like it's the issue from the development side, and development team would say like it is the issue from the operation side. So DevOps comes into picture to narrow that gap between both the teams. That's why a DevOps engineer should also know the software development as well as their configuration related to infrastructure or related to their code, CI/CD pipelines, all these things. So all the configurations DevOps engineer should know. So I think that one question was pasted in the chat. I have answered that question also. That software developer just developing the code. That's it. But a DevOps engineer should also know the configuration of that code, how it should work, and what my configuration would be. Okay, so to run that application, you need a DevOps engineer. But to write a code for that application, you just need a software developer. I hope I have cleared that query.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was a great way of explaining the difference between the software engineer or software developer and DevOps engineer. So, okay, so we can move forward with the next slide. Again, it is automation and IAC part. Okay, So automation is basically something that is the core purpose. That means that core thing that DevOps engineer also do. That means the automating everything, automating the structure or automating the way the things used to be. So for example, like we are constantly talking about the SDLCs. That means we are constantly talking about the water shell or the waterfall model, or we are talking about the agile approach also. So agile and waterfall basically how they are different from what I can say DevOps philosophy is. For example, DevOps are basically continuously managing all these things. They are continuously integrating and continuously deploying. So there's a kind of automation. That means no team is dependent on others. That means we are reducing and narrowing the gap of dependency between both of them. There should be, then again, if we can say in the layman terms, then there should be the no blame game again, right? That so it is the basically concept of automation. And IAC is basically, if I can say what is like, why should you use IAC, infrastructure as a code? So for example, if you are an infra engineer or you are a cloud developer, so you got a project in which you have to deploy 100 virtual machines or 100 EC2 instance. Then if you go into that portal and you manually do it, then it will be a lot of thing for you to do it. So here IAC comes into play. So here Terraform comes into play. So Terraform is basically the infrastructure as a code tool. So you can deploy entire infra using the Terraform commands. Okay. So in Terraform, you can basically it is a declarative set of language. Terraform is declarative form. That means you can declare, you can plan, you can directly say the Terraform that you want to build this in the end. That means you directly have to provide a clear picture that you want to get this in the end. So it is it uses declarative approach. So this is for IAC. And if I use about the automation part, then there is the Ansible that comes into play. Ansible and Chef also. Ansible and Chef are one of the widely used tools that are being used for automation purposes. So Ansible is basically, for example, you have 50 machines, right? Or you have 100 machines. Out of 100, 50 are web servers and 50 are database servers. And you want to do some upgrade in all those machines. That means if you manually go into all those machines and do some upgrade, then it will be a big task for you. So here Ansible comes into play. So in Ansible, you can define the playbooks and inventories, and you can do all that purpose. Again, you can see there's a version control system. Version control is one of the foremost tool that is being used by the developers again. So like for example, you are a developer, right, and you are writing some code. For example, if you are leading a team of developers, right, there are 10 developers that are working under you. Then for example, if you are running an entire application, but there's some sort of mistake done by any of the developer, right? For example, there's one sort of mistake in the 100 or 1,000 line of code. If you go on and searching for those mistakes, then it will be a huge thing for you. So in that case, the Git and GitHub and version controls comes into play. For example, if you can directly, for example, you can direct this, as the name suggests, it's the version control. That means you can get all the versions of the system, all the versions of the file there only. So if you want to roll back to the previous version, then you can do that also without much changes, so without much difficulty. So that's how easy and efficient it is to manage with automation and IAC part. Okay, Gaurav sir, up to you.
So yeah, I'm just adding it to Paras point here. So automation, guys, that should be the first word which should come in your mind as a DevOps engineer. See, you have to do multiple tasks in a repetitive way, right? So automation is the first thing, and then like for a developer perspective, if we can say like CI/CD, as Paras has already explained that part. So CI/CD, we need to, change the code frequently to get the applications properly working, right? So for these repetitive tasks, we should automate the process, and that's how a DevOps engineer should work, right? Infrastructure as a code is a separate part, but it is also a important part because see, for example, like you are running an application, right? And that is already deployed on a cloud platform, whether it's AWS or Azure, and your application is working fine. But what if customer comes to you and say like, I want to test the disaster recovery for this application. Like if something goes wrong with this application, what should be our next plan of action for that? So then infrastructure as a code comes into picture. You can, for example, you have a application, a mobile app, a simple mobile app, and it is running properly, and you want to restore it somewhere, some other reason, or on a different disaster recovery site. So what should be your plan of action? So for that, you should have infrastructure as a code ready with you, and you can uh, up your application. I mean, your application would be up and running within 5 to 10 minutes, guys. You won't understand that part, but let me clear you on that part, that infrastructure as a code plays an important role for such use cases. And for example, you are just deploying a new infrastructure. So, and you are writing infrastructure as a code. And in the market today, there are multiple tools like Pulumi, which comes with a programming language. I mean, you can write your infrastructure with a programming language, right? Like Python. Are you getting my point? We have Terraform.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
have
sir.
with specific to a cloud, if I say like in AWS, we have CloudFormation, which can write infrastructure as a code, right? But there are some limitations. In Terraform, we are using HashiCorp's language, which everybody should, everybody is not aware, right? But programming languages, we are aware since we are developers, or if we are college students also, but we might be knowing some programming languages. So you can write your code in programming languages. So Pulumi is one of the tool which comes into market just recently, so you can write your infrastructure as a code in that language also. So you can use loops or functions, because there are some limitations with CloudFormation or Terraform, but in Pulumi it got resolved. You can freely write your infrastructure as a code. So first and foremost thing, automation. That should be in your mind as a DevOps engineer.
Thanks, sir. It was really a nice explanation. And Para sir, we have only 5 minutes left, so I request you to please bind up this session.
Okay, right. So maybe you can move forward with the next slide, Rishabh. Okay, so career opportunities DevOps. I think we have already in detail we have discussed about this part. Like DevOps is one of the best thing in the market, and it is one of the best thing that is being growing with such a rapid pace. That means if you have so many career opportunities, right, in DevOps also. So it is one of the fast and foremost thing that is being growing. So if I talk as a conclusion, if we conclude something of this overall session and overall PPT, that what we have discussed so far, then we can also say that this DevOps is basically a set of practices and it is a set of philosophy. So it contains so many skills. For example, you can automate those stuff. Then you would require the collaboration skills. You would require the communication skills so that you can collaborate and narrow the gap in the previous life cycle, in the traditional methods of software development life cycle. So here what DevOps comes into play. I think Rishabh, we can have the Q&A session now, like for everyone if they're having any doubts and questions.
Yes, sir. Let me unmute. Let me give permission to everyone so that everyone can unmute yourself. Just give me 2 minutes.
Right. Yep, exactly.
I can see a couple of questions in the chat itself, like AI branch student should, and what is the future of AI branch students in DevOps? Yeah, that's a great question.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, I give permission to all the students. If they have doubt, they can introduce yourself and ask your questions one by one.
yeah, please.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, hi,
Sir,
good evening.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, speakers, student council, and professors of department. Sir, I am Ashutosh from Technocrats Institute of Technology. I am currently learning Azure DevOps and Cloud. Sir, I have a questions regarding real time. Sir, what are the trends and development you foresee in the world of DevOps, sir? So, what are the trends are coming in the DevOps, sir, in future?
Sorry, your voice is little bit breaking. Can you just come again?
Sir, I am asking, sir, what are the trends and developments you foresee in the world of DevOps, sir, in future, sir?
Paras, would you take it up?
Yeah, sure, sir, sure. So Ashutosh, like you are asking, like what are the trends for the future part, right? As being a DevOps engineer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, as I said, like as I've already mentioned, like DevOps is going in the rapid pace. So if I talk about today, then today, for example, if I talk about 5 years back, then containers were nothing. Everywhere people doesn't know what containers were. So people were doing the deployment in the virtual machine. That means from the 5 years back from today. So if I talk about 10 years back, then people were very recently introduced to cloud. So they were still using the physical server. But as I talk about today, then there are containers that are coming into play. So the technology is changing day by day or year by year. That means something new is also coming to play. Like Gaurav sir has mentioned about the language Plumi. So Plumi is basically you can also like he mentioned that you can use your own programming languages to write those codes and all to develop the infrastructure. So there are day by day trends in this part. So see, currently we are using containers, right? Kubernetes is there now. Red Hat also, for example, like if I talk about container Kubernetes, then Kubernetes just had the CLI. That means the you can only write the code. But Red Hat came with the thing and they introduced Rosa, right? I think Gaurav sir has the better idea about Rosa. Rosa, what it gets now, it gets a GUI for Kubernetes as well. So the things are changing day by day. And if I talk about the trends, then there are very rapid growth. That means today we are using containers. Then tomorrow, maybe after 5 years, there should be anything new that can overlap and that they can replace the container strategy. So there's it's about technology, right? Technology is like to
So
be changed every day.
just adding to Paras' point here, apart from microservices like containers as a service, we are already moved to serverless, which is function as a service, where you can write Lambda functions for your application to run. You can use, just Python code, and you can create a Lambda function for that. And basis on that, you can run your application. I have also, created my own website with the Lambda function itself. That is serverless. You won't get any cost for that. You don't have to pay for your infrastructure that much. That is just based on the Lambda function execution. Like whenever someone calls any APIs, that should be the cost would be basis on that execution. It's not like, for example, you created a virtual machine in cloud. You have to pay and for the whole month, right? Like in whole month, like it's average of 744 hours, right? But for Lambda function, you just need to pay for the execution of that specific function. So that is a concept of modern applications, which is recently came into the market.
Yes, sir. Serverless computing,
That
sir,
is called.
reducing operational overhead, sir.
Sorry.
Sir, I am saying
Can you come again?
serverless computing reduces operational overhead, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
sir.
so
Thank
any
you for
other
your
questions? Yeah, any other questions?
Is there any participant, those who have any questions, they can unmute yourself and just ask their question by introducing yourself.
Yes, sir. I am audible.
Yes, Abhijit, yes, you
Yes.
can ask.
Sir, I have no ideas this. I cannot explain it. I can not understand it. What doing it even?
Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you
Sir,
said.
why can I join it?
Why can I join it?
I have
You know
no
the
purpose reason.
you want to know the reason why you want to join as a DevOps engineer.
Yes, sir, but I have no idea this conversation.
Is
For
the
this
is
for
that
you,
a question to us, or is that a question to Rishav?
Abhijit, I will solve your query. You just ping me in LinkedIn or WhatsApp. Okay.
See, guys, if
Yes, sir.
you
Okay,
have,
thank
I
you.
mean, no, you can ask. If you are comfortable with Hindi, you can ask in that language also. There is no issue with the languages, but please clarify us to your questions
Yes,
first.
yes. If you have any problem, you can paste your question in chat section too. We can read out from there.
Yeah, if you have any
Yes, sir.
internet
Okay.
or connection issue, right? So
Ria is raising hand. Ria, do you have any questions for us?
Yes, sir, I do have questions for you and Paras sir both.
Yeah, yeah.
Rather, it's a personal question. I want to ask what motivated you guys to take DevOps as your career? Like,
okay.
what
So,
was that starting point that you wanted to, pursue your career in DevOps?
Gaurav sir, I would like I would request you to take this first.
Okay. So we have a example of Paras here. So recently he completed his college, and from the college itself, he completed three to four. I think Paras, correct me if I'm wrong. 3 to 4 certifications of
5 sir.
Azure. 5. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So he has completed 5 certifications in Azure while doing his studies in college. So I think that is the real motivation you should have. But if you are not doing 5, at least you should have 1 or 2. Okay. And let's come to my career. So I started as a system admin. So from there, I was using physical machines, and I used to work on physical machines. So then something came up to my mind that I should try this cloud platform, that you don't have to insert Ethernet cables here and there, right?
Yes, sir.
So, so that motivated me actually. But apart, just jokes apart, but it's a quite, I mean, good field to work, right? But if I can say, like, DevOps is the, I mean, in 21st century, DevOps is the, what should I say? I mean, I don't have words.
Yeah.
DevOps
DevOps
is
is the new
future.
normal. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kuchhiya.
new normal right now.
Yeah,
New
DevOps is the new
normal, the
normal.
new trend, you can
Right.
say.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
For application delivery perspective, you can say faster delivery of application, because you have already seen that logo of DevOps. That is a infinity sign, right? So you don't have to wait your code to for the deployment, right? You can right away deploy your code, and you can see the changes right away,
Yes, sir.
right? That is a faster delivery of your application code, right? Agility, then scaling. So all these things come as a feature of DevOps. So these things you should keep in your mind. But I can say that DevOps is the new normal, as Paras already said.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other
So
questions,
it's
guys? Do you have?
Thank you so much, sir.
No,
So we
Any
can take
other
questions
question
from
from any other
the chat
participants?
also. Chat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, we can take questions from chat section.
So I can see one question from Ujjwal. Does web development helps in becoming DevOps engineer? Definitely. you would be writing the front end code, right? Web development.
Ujjwal, if you can unmute yourself, if you are still there.
I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir, you are
Okay.
on.
I think, Ujjwal, if you can hear us, then maybe you can unmute yourself so that we can directly take up this question.
Mic is allotted for every attendees. You can join this program.
Yes,
Everyone
sir,
can.
I'm unmuted, sir. Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
you
we
are
can hear
audible.
you.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have currently started, sir, learning about the web development, sir. Does it been becoming the DevOps engineer?
For sure. Why not?
What are the I need to focus during the web development
See,
course?
in web
Sir.
development, you would be mostly focusing on front end, right?
Front end. Okay.
If I'm not wrong, you are
And
mostly focusing on front end part, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes. Okay.
when coming to DevOps, you also writing some codes. I mean, you are writing Docker files for that front end. I mean, for your application front end, right?
Yes, sir.
So during that time, I mean, while you are writing your code for front end, you would also need some details about your infrastructure part. I mean, CI/CD and what your application need, what consumption it would need, what memory, CPU, what resources it need actually. So you can easily learn DevOps, guys. It's not about if you know development, you can easily learn DevOps. It's just you need infrastructure understanding. That's all. And I already, I think, discussed with you guys that first and foremost thing, you should know operating system. And apart from that, you should know any programming languages, then configuration management, what Paras has already explained to you in that slide. So there are few things that we need to go step by step. It's not if we can start learning all the tools in a single way, single go, right? It's not like that. You should start because as a DevOps engineer, you cannot be a DevOps engineer within 1 year. It should take some time, like 3 to 4 years or 5 years. I don't consider a DevOps engineer if he doesn't have 3 years of experience, at least. I don't consider. I took interviews, but I'm telling you guys seriously, before you have at least 3 years of experience, including your development and operations part, you want to be a DevOps engineer. Because at least 6 months, so you wasted while learning your operations only in the organization. You getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Is there any more
Any other
questions
question, guys?
with any other
Again,
participants?
Ria has raised hand.
Yes, sir,
Yeah,
I've got one more question, but it's not for me. So, we have participants from first year, second year, third year, fourth year. So, I like to ask a question on behalf of them. So, what should they do to start their career in DevOps as early as possible? What all they should start doing by from the first year, as you've already mentioned, na, ki it at least takes minimum 3 years of time to, become a DevOps engineer. So, the early they start, the better it would be. So, what are instructions for them so that they can start
Yeah,
preparing for DevOps for those who are interested?
exactly. So, yeah. So there should be, I mean, everyone should have familiarity with one of the cloud environment, whether it's Azure or AWS. And I think every cloud platform provide you that free subscriptions also, right, for students. And you can leverage those services of like AWS or Azure. Right?
Only Azure is
So
providing $100 USD for free for students, I think.
yes,
Uh,
and AWS also provide that free tier subscription, and that will cost you around 2 rupees. That is it, guys. If you are using any resource and you just delete it after using it, you can easily, I mean, you should have the familiarity first with the cloud environment. Why we are using it? What is the use of this specific service, or what are the services are there? At least we should have the familiarity with the cloud environment. Then your I mean your application related languages, like if you are using Python, you are familiar with Python or Java or PHP. Like it depends on the development part. Basically, like if you are a front end developer, so you should be focusing on JavaScript and all, HTML, CSS and all, right? And if you are a backend developer, I mean, you want to be a backend developer, you are focusing on Python, Java, all these things, right? So then it should come to, I mean, at least you should try with the practitioner part first, whether it's Azure or AWS.
Yes, sir. I also have one question with you. Sir, how a fresher student can secure a good position as a DevOps engineer in a good tech company? What are the
So
projects we have to
Rishabh, I
focus
think
on? What are the...
that's a,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So currently in the market, DevOps is on the peak, right? So like we already have an example here, Paras. He already took 5 certificates before he passed out. So
Yes, sir.
at least he has, I mean, he has a target that I should be a DevOps engineer in 1 or 2 or 3 years, right? So everybody should be focused on their, I mean, specific target. Like, for example, it took me 6 years to become a DevOps engineer, but Paras has did it in 2 years. You getting my point?
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question. Is certificates are more important than experience?
Experience, obviously
No, I
experience,
cannot say
Rishabh.
that. I cannot say
Rishabh.
that certificates can be done easily, but
Right.
without your real-time use cases, you won't become that kind of cream product, right? Certification is just a, I mean, you can say like there is a, what we can say, कहावत होती है ना हिंदी में, प्रतीक्षा, क्या होता है वो, प्रत्यक्ष को प्रमाण
Yes,
की
sir.
जरूरत नहीं
Yes, sir.
होती है,
Right,
Yes, sir.
right,
Yes, sir.
right.
ठीक है? So certification just a qualifier for you
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
that you are a DevOps engineer, but your experience should be like what you brings on the table.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Risha, I would like to one more point. Like Gaurav sir mentioned, right? कि क्या था वो, प्रतीक्षा को प्रमाण की जरूरत नहीं होती, राइट? ये था तो उसमें
प्रत्यक्ष
हाँ, प्रत्यक्ष प्रत्यक्ष को प्रमाण की जरूरत नहीं होती, राइट? So I would like to add one more point here. Like for example, if you are having good number of certification, then it is really good. But the first and foremost thing that organization will look into it, like how you will help them to, like how you are going to help them, like in managing their own infra, right? So both of the things are concurrently important. That means if you are getting some experience, then you can get certificates also. But it is nothing like you should only focus on certificate. Then you should negotiate the real time experience, right? So you could take both. You can take both of them parallelly.
Yes, Paras sir, thanks for Paras sir and Gaurav sir, thanks for your nice explanation. And I would like to say all the
Yeah,
participants.
sorry, Rishabh, sorry to cut you. I just want to take this question that how AI part will help in DevOps, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Somebody has posted this question.
Yes, sir. Sure, you can take this.
Yeah. So I'll take this question. Paras, would you want to take it or should I?
You can start, sir. Then maybe I can take over.
Okay. So
Yeah.
basically, guys, see, there is a, I mean, completely hype for artificial intelligence, that is AI, right? It's not about hype, but it's because this 21st century, it's all about data. See, so artificial intelligence is the basically the driver of that specific domain, that is data science, you can say, right? So data is the basically a new oil for this 21st century. So we have different verticals for data also, like data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, right? But as a AI engineer, what you guys take it up as a AI engineer, right? It's basis on the previous data. You just predict something. Am I right?
Right. Right. Yeah. And
Or
I will also yes, sir. Yeah. Continue.
yeah, go ahead, Paris. I'll cover up that later. If you have any point, you
Okay.
can add.
Okay. So I was just saying that like Gaurav sir has mentioned about the data part, right? So that means that AI is the one who is the driving the data, right? So in today's world, the data is everything. So for example, if I say about the live examples right now, so for example, there are some services, for example, either it is AWS or anything. There is something like data pipelines that are coming into play, right? Recently, I have seen those configurations. Like Ashutosh have also mentioned like what is the trend in DevOps. So I have seen those things. Like we are focusing about the development pipelines as well, but I've also seen the change in the data pipelines as well. So there are ETL pipeline, that means the elevate, extract, transform, and load. So AI is also the one that you can also look into those data pipelines. That means you can also turn some amount of data into the beautiful graphs or beautiful maybe you can use Power BI or Grafana or Prometheus or anything. You can make those data into some useful information by using some graphs, by using some charts, by using some tables. So here, as an AI engineer or as an AI student, then here also you can look into this part. Yes, Gaurav sir, you can take up now.
Yeah, thanks, Paras, for adding this. So, guys, as Paras already mentioned that there should be a pattern, right? So, basis on that pattern, you suggest something or you develop something, right? So that's where AI will help in cloud also or DevOps will also. Like for example, you are running your application on a VM and it is behaving ideal, right? Like memory utilization is 70% or CPU utilization is 50%, but sometimes that spikes goes up. So there is a concept of anomaly detection where AI comes into picture in cloud also, in DevOps also, right? So basis on your previous patterns, you can
Hello,
define,
sir. Hello.
you can define whatever is required and related to your cost also. I think Paras has a better understanding related to the cost. Currently, we both are working on a tool that is related to
Right,
serving our
right.
customer
Hello.
basis on the cost.
Yes, yes.
Yes, anyone is asking something?
Hello.
Yes,
Or
you
should
can
I
unmute
continue?
yourself and ask your question if
Yeah.
there is any question.
So anyone wants to say something?
Is there anyone who have doubt or any question? You also can unmute yourself and ask directly from our speakers. Our speaker are present in live. After the session, you have to message them on LinkedIn. Uh, Hello. Is there anyone who have any doubts?
Rishabh, why didn't you do this that you mute all the participants? If anyone wants to ask, they can ask in the chat section. I guess there's some sort of disturbance which is created by someone.
Yes, I just muted everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shivam Tiwari
Is
wants
there-
to ask something. He was raising hand. Shivam, if you can unmute yourself or paste your question in the
Yes.
chat.
Shivam, your voice is not clear. I think you can paste your question in the chat section.
Meanwhile, I think someone else has also raised the hand. Shivam, you can paste
Yeah,
your
yeah.
question and other.
Yeah.
Rishabh,
Uday, you can
unmute.
Uday, you can continue.
So I have also seen one question here. Which language we have to learn for to become a DevOps engineer? So guys, you can learn any programming language, but I would suggest personally I would suggest Python.
Right. Because it is so flexible and
But
so
choice is
versatile
yours.
language.
I'm not forcing
Right.
you to learn Python, but that is my suggestion. But going forward, if you are going for a container orchestration, then you should learn Go.
Golang, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Shaman is asking about complete certification for DevOps.
So for certification of DevOps, you should actually start from the associate level first. So there is a basic level. Like if I can explain you about AWS part, and Paras would be explaining you Azure part. So AWS, you can start as a developer associate or as a solution architect or a SysOps administrator, right? And from there, you can pursue DevOps engineer.
Right. And if I talk about Azure part, then Azure, first of all, maybe you can start with, for example, if you are an absolute beginner, then you can start with Azure Fundamentals, that is AZ 900. Or if for associate level, you can go with Azure Administrator Associate or Developer Associate, that is AZ 104 to 04. And then you can go for Azure DevOps Engineer Expert, that is AZ 400. Right. So any other question? I can see like one hand that is raised.
Yeah, one guy, Khushbu is asking for, does Java is beneficial for DevOps engineer?
Yeah. If I talk about Java, then basically for Java is also like, for example, for development perspective, then you can use any languages like we mentioned before, because the basic concepts of every language is just same, just the commands and the framework that you are using is different. So yes, Java is definitely beneficial, right?
Sir, I am asking.
So just adding to Para's point here, for programming languages, guys, it's a myth. Like we should learn Java or we should learn Python, right? You should understand the logic first. That's all about I want to say.
Right.
If you understand
Exactly.
the logic, you can write your code in any languages.
Yes, sir. Actually,
Sir, I am asking, sir, in organizations, what are the matrices or indicators to measure the process of DevOps, effective process of DevOps? What are the matrices or indicators?
Yeah. Gaurav sir will be the best one to answer this question, because for Hitachi, he's taking the interview for DevOps engineers, right? So he can answer like what he measures, right?
See, first of all, you should have a complete understanding of the DevOps package. It's not about you just have a DevOps certification. It's about you should learn multiple tools also, right? And then you should have understanding of collaborating with other partners, stakeholders, like who are currently developing your code. And if you are working as operations team or other development team, you should be communicating with other stakeholders, those who are available. Who are working on the same project, right? So as a DevOps engineer, if we focus, so you should have we can say like all-in-one package.
Yes, sir.
It's already 30 minutes late. 30 minutes late. We have a session from 8 to 9. It's already 9:30, I think. So it's a time to wrap up the session. I would like to give a special thanks to our director sir, our HOD, HOD sirs of IT and CS department, Mr. Vivek, Dr. Vivek Sarma sir, and Dr. Manoj Tyagi sir, our director Shashi Kumar Jain sir, and our mentor Neha Jain ma'am, and all the technocrats group for making this session for making this session successful. And I would also like to thank Sohani, Ria, Ashutosh, Darshal, and all the alumni community members for making this session such a successful such a successful way. I would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Paras sir and Mr. Gaurav sir, for contributing with our community and giving their valuable time to us. And I know there may be lots of questions from lots of other students. So I had pasted their LinkedIn accounts in the chat section. Everyone can send the connection request to our speakers and host. And if you have any queries regarding DevOps, you can just DM them. You can just ping them in LinkedIn. And if you have any query regarding DevOps resources, how can we get started to DevOps or any DevOps resources, just ping me on WhatsApp or LinkedIn. I think all of you have my WhatsApp number or LinkedIn profile, so you can ping me out from there. And it's a time to wrap up our session. I would like to hand over this to Ria for vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Rishabh. And once again, since the session has come to an end, it's my privilege to express our heartfelt gratitude to all those who have made this event possible. First and foremost, Mr. Paras Basia sir and Mr. Gaurav Upadhyay sir. So you have generously shared your knowledge, insights, and experience with us. Your expertise in DevOps is truly invaluable, and your guidance has inspired us and our juniors and our seniors to pursue our careers in DevOps. And once again, my sincere appreciation goes to Technocrats Institute of Technology, our director, Mr. Shashi Kumar Jain sir, HOD of Computer Science Department, Mr. Manoj Tyagi sir, HOD of IT, Mr. Vivek Sharma sir, for allowing us to conduct this session, and you guys to spare your valuable time. Special thanks to all the participants for your active involvement and enthusiasm. Your thoughtful questions and engagement have contributed significantly to the success of this event. Once again, thanks to Student Council of Technocrat Institute of Technology, President and Vice President Mr. Prabhat Kumar and Mr. Sahil Kumar for arranging this event. And now I'd like to wrap up the session. Once again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. It was such a wonderful time with all of you. Thank you.
But it was a great experience.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much,
Thank you, sir.
everyone. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Ria. Thank you, Rishabh, for
Thanks, sir, for your
having me
warm
in this
contribution.
session.
All pleasures, sir.
Thank you,
I
Paras.
request everyone to open their camera for a group photo so that everyone can post in their LinkedIn or social media handles.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes,
Everyone.
with a thumbs up.
With a thumbs up, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I think all the students have take the screenshot. Done. Done or anyone left? Okay, now it's a time to wrap up our session. Uh, we have we have our we have our mentor Neha Jain ma'am. Ma'am, can you please guide us for this session? If we have made some mistakes, can you please correct us if you are here?
Listen, mom is actually somewhere out and she cannot unmute
Oh,
her mic.
okay,
So
okay, no issue.
yes, she has informed before that she's out somewhere.
Okay, okay, no issue. Thanks, ma'am, for attending. Thanks, our speaker for joining this session. Thanks, all the participants to joining this session. I think all the participants gain some knowledge about DevOps and cloud. For rest of the questions, you can DM to our speakers and host. And this is enough for today's session. And we will see all of you in our next upcoming sessions, which is going to be held after Diwali. Okay. How is the Josh? Everyone can unmute and answer. How is the Josh?
Hi,
Hi,
sir.
sir.
High or not?
Hi, sir.
Very very
Very high.
Hi, sir.
No, I know it's already 35 minutes late. That's why you are saying low. Okay, thanks Farah sir. Thanks Gaurav sir for your mentorship session. And
Thank you,
all
Thank
thanks
everyone.
you.
to you
Thank you,
guys.
Rishabh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
It was
Thank you
a
so much,
great
sir.
experience talking to you all. Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night. Have a
Bye
good
bye,
day.
sir. Good night.
Bye, bye,
Thanks
sir.
everyone for joining.
Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.